I hate divorce. Jehovah hates treacherous, deceitful conduct. Jehovah hates traitors. In Proverbs 2:22, it says, the treacherous will be torn away from the earth. And not only in a marriage, but in any relationship, between two very close friends, between us and the organization, even between us and Jehovah. Was that after he saw some decisions made with the finances that he didn't quite agree with?
Now empty that safe. Money, money, money.
Well, I think I have a few things to say about this talk. Welcome back to the JW Thoughts channel. My name is Wally, and today we are going to be looking at this bizarre morning worship talk where he is tying in the idea of being treacherous or a traitor with someone that gets divorced or even leaves Jehovah's organization. I found it quite interesting, and I think it's really a good springboard to highlight some of the issues that us as former Jehovah's Witnesses really need to take some time to seriously think about. So let's get into it.
And the term treacherously was very appropriate. Here, the Hebrew word means to deal deceitfully, unfaithfully. A form of this verb means to be a traitor. And how Jehovah feels about this, it's no wonder he says what he does in verse 16, where he says, for I hate divorce. Jehovah hates treacherous, deceitful conduct. Jehovah hates traitors.
Now, I have a problem with Watchtower and how they oversimplify divorce as being this traitorous, treacherous, horrible thing that God hates more than cherry Pop-Tarts. They have no understanding or compassion for people that are in difficult situations. They try to say, oh, well, we maintain the Bible standard of only divorcing if there's been infidelity. But someone can be in a situation that is abusive and dangerous as well. And in those situations, a divorce is the right answer. It's the appropriate response. If you are married to someone and their behavior changes in fundamental ways that you no longer want to be with that person, or that person is hurting you or holding you back, or whatever the case might be, there's a million different circumstances, that is a appropriate response. And yet Watchtower wants to say, you better never even think that way because God will kill you for it. Now, the bigger problem here, and that is facing anyone that's ever been a Jehovah's Witness through your entire life, is Watchtower is trying to shield ordinary Jehovah's Witnesses away from self-actualization. They don't want people to discover happiness. They don't want people to understand that they can set and maintain boundaries, that they can set goals for themselves, that they can pursue their own interests. They want to keep them in this mental box. And that is really the backbone of this entire talk. They just want to remind people that treachery, traitorous behavior is really thinking for yourself. And that is at the root of all the problems. Now, I know that there's going to be someone in the comments right now saying,
oh, Wally, of course you're just embellishing on the situation in order to get more clicks on your video. I really see behind your lies and your deceptions. I will not have it. Dislike and reporting this video right now.
And to that person I say, let's look back at what Stephen Lett said during the September 2022 JW broadcasting, where he literally calls someone that leaves their spouse that is abusing them a bad thing and propaganda by Satan's media.
And this world's media is very skillful at presenting something bad as good. For example, in a movie, a female character might be portrayed as having a husband who is abusive. You like the woman, and you want her to find happiness. Then a handsome man starts working in her office, and he's so nice to her. There's an attraction between them, and the budding romance is presented as something good. Soft background music makes it hard to consider her course to be bad.
So if you're an ex-Jehovah's Witness and you're watching this, or you have friends or family that are still Jehovah's Witnesses and you're trying to find ways to help them, remember that this is how Jehovah's Witnesses are being talked to and treated. They are trying to keep them suppressed and under control. They don't want them thinking for themselves. And if you're ever trying to have conversations with someone or perhaps plant some seeds of doubt, it's a very tricky thing because Watchtower is constantly telling people to be careful of any little seeds of doubt that could be planted that would make them a traitorous person. And as we're about to see, a traitorous person doesn't just have to do with a marriage or getting a divorce. It also happens to do with leaving Jehovah's organization.
And not only in a marriage, but in any relationship between two very close friends, between us and the organization, even between us and Jehovah.
This is important for them to say, maintain, and really double down on because they want ordinary Jehovah's Witnesses to view anyone that leaves the organization, that gets that divorce from being a baptized witness, as a traitorous, treacherous person. And then they're not going to trust them. They're going to have this wall that they automatically put up. And it is so infuriating to have to deal with that, especially with a lot of our friends and family. But it is a good word of caution because as we exit out of the organization, we would never want to fall into a similar pattern of allowing ourselves to be controlled again in such ways.
How does somebody get to the point when they turn against Jehovah's organization? Well, see, long before they get to that point, something has been brewing under the surface. Thus the comment, guard yourselves respecting your spirit. And why is that appropriate? Well, grudges, harsh words, unresolved misunderstandings, questioning decisions that are made. See, this can begin to fester and begin to rot a relationship from the inside out if left unchecked.
No, 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 no. This man cannot be allowed to say this and just get away with it. If there's anyone that makes YouTube videos or does TikTok or blog posts, please make a video on this. Get this out to as many people as possible because this is really annoying. He correctly identifies an issue. If you allow things to fester, it's going to poison a relationship if things just continue to go unsaid. Okay, cool. Most of us understand that. And yet, what does the organization do? Whenever people have legitimate questions about concerns or policies or scandals that happen within the organization, they go silent. They give their members the silent treatment. You don't hear them publicly addressing any of these issues. Instead, they'll just spend money on positive PR campaigns to try and distract people from actual legitimate issues that the normal community has or ex-Jehovah's Witnesses have. It's absolutely infuriating to me that he can be like, now never would you want to be like these treacherous people that allow things to fester. Now, if you ever have any questions about the organization, please ignore them and just allow those to fester because we really don't want to answer for any of our crimes against humanity.
Yet one of you is a slanderer. He was in fact speaking of Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot. You see, was Judas starting to listen to those who were beginning to murmur against Jesus? At John chapter 12 and verse 6, we're told that Judas was a thief. He would take money from the money box. Well, when did that start? Was that after he saw some decisions made with the finances that he didn't quite agree with? According to Matthew and Mark's account, it appears that seeing Mary pour the perfumed oil on Jesus was the last trigger for Judas. He strongly objects, and Jesus strongly rebukes Judas in that occasion.
Now, I have skipped ahead through the majority of this talk because he just goes and gives some biblical examples of treachery. But I did find this one worth talking about because we have to remember he is giving this talk initially to Bethelites. isn't it kind of odd that he's using this as an example to Bethelites? Was Judas someone that was listening to the murmuring and he saw something about the mishandling of funds, so that's why he became traitorous? Why would you say that to Bethelites? Is there currently an issue or a problem in Bethel or in the organization at large where people are becoming aware of some of the lawsuits that Watchtower is involved in? Are they starting to talk and becoming aware of how they were promised all of these kingdom halls, and what they got was their kingdom halls taken away and a new movie studio to get more movies, which they already have lots of in the organization? There must be grumblings that he's sort of tacitly addressing here, but it is amazing that he is going to pick the one person in the Bible. He's going to pick Judas. Don't be a Judas and listen to these murmurings. I mean, that's the guy that betrayed Jesus Christ himself. He was a witness to miracles and everything, and he still betrayed him because there was murmurings about the mishandling of money. I found this absolutely fascinating.
Things happen in our life. An injustice, a misunderstanding, strong discipline, being embarrassed in public, maybe feelings of jealousy over privileges that somebody else has. See, these things happen to all of us at one time or another in our life or through our life. And each time this happens, it drops a little seed, if you will, into our heart. And if left unchecked, a poisonous root can begin to grow that eventually can cause us to become a traitor against our marriage mate, against our close friend, against the organization, or even against Jehovah. So think back to when we fell in love with our husband or our wife. What caused us to fall in love with them? What caused us to develop that close bond between us and our best friend? What was it that convinced us this is the truth? Think back to that. And see, every time we do these things, we're pulling out one of those poisonous roots and stopping it from growing. It's an ongoing process that we do over and over again.
Now, Dr. Bozo Brain here probably doesn't have the ability to see the fallacy here, and that his solution to the problem is delusion. Just douse yourself in a wonderful shower of delusion and everything will be fine. It's going to be hard. You might have to keep it up and continue to do it over and over and over again. What is he talking about? There needs to be some type of recognition for people operating in society. That you shouldn't just think back about how things used to be. Think about how they actually are. If you're in a relationship, don't just keep thinking back, oh, I remember what they used to be like. I mean, they treat me like crap now, but man, they used to treat me good. What are you talking about? Oh man, I really used to like my job and everything, but my boss and they've taken away all of our benefits. This is awful. Okay, things change. But therein lies the point. It's the organization. As the organization makes changes, as they make adjustments, don't think about these different ways in which the organization has changed. Just focus on why you got baptized as a child. What is he talking about? Most of the people listening to this talk are going to have been baptized before the age of, I would say, 16. And that might be pretty generous. But most people he's talking to didn't really have a fully functional brain when they made the decision to get baptized. It's actually encouraged by Watchtower for them to get baptized before that age. So what is he talking about? Remember back when you were a teenager or before you were a teenager? And think about the love you had for the organization and let that motivate you? That's a crappy way to live your life. If you just continue to go back and remember to think like a 12-year-old. And if you can think like a 12-year-old, you will be happy. It's absolutely horrible advice, and it needs to be talked about because for people that were former Jehovah's Witnesses, or even if someone is getting to know someone, they have a friendship or some kind of relationship or a marriage with someone that was a Jehovah's Witness, hearing these things can help identify maybe some of the issues and things that we go through having been raised in this organization. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. We'll see about I think the official thought that I'm going to do is the 10K 10 days of Christmas. So I didn't do anything special for the 10K subscribers, so hopefully we'll be able to do that. And my idea was to do one type of video of all the different types of videos that I've ever done. So between skits and tier lists and watch-alongs and parodies and the whole shebang. So we will see how that goes. I am going to start putting that together. I might not be quite as active as I normally am in the comment section, but I still do read each and every one of your guys' comments. So thank you so much for that. Anyway, I will see you next time.